One of my favorite things to do on this channel is watching so bad it's good content. And recently I found an app that is literally just that, called reelshort. And no, it's not an app that makes content for short people. reelshort is a streaming app that claims to be the next generation of HD streaming, and that they will change the way you watch and consume video shows. So what does that all mean exactly? Every video on reelshort is in vertical format, the way it was intended to be, and all their shows are split up into a bunch of minute-long episodes that, after the first one, you have to either pay for with their version of V-Bucks, or watch ads to unlock. The next generation sucks. But I'll admit, for all my sarcasm, the concept intrigued me, so I decided to look around the app and see what kind of content they offer. I mean, look, it's no Netflix, but where else can you find such gems as Fated to My Forbidden Alpha, The CEO's Contract Wife, Big Bad Husband, Please Wake Up, and of course, Big Bad Husband, Please Wake Up 2. But today we won't be talking about any of those wonderful sounding movies. No, instead we're gonna be watching Son-in-Law's Revenge.
Oh, apologize.
Okay. Sorry.
For what?
For treating you like scum.
Oh, by the way, before we begin, I spent $40 real on this video, just unlocking this one movie pretty much. So if you like the video, maybe give it a like and subscribe. Compared to the $40 I spent, that's free. So Son-in-Law's Revenge is about Leo, our main character. His life is turned upside down when he finds out that his grandfather is a billionaire and gets given a massive inheritance, including an entire business empire. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here, so let's just start from the beginning. So Leo is married to Amy, and her family all hate Leo.
We can't go in there. Your family hates me.
They don't hate you. And Aunt Cindy would kill me if we miss her retirement party. Come on.
Amy! You see you brought your trash of a husband.
Doesn't he know he's not welcome here?
Ew, Leo's here? Ugh! Who invited this stinker? Oh, I'm gonna be sick. Seriously though, I'm gonna be sick. Does anyone have a trash can? Oh wait, it's Leo's face! Leo, get the fuck out of here.
They don't hate you.
By the way, this opening scene actually highlights just how bad this app idea is, because this is the entire first episode.
We're just waiting for the day Amy wises up and divorces you.
Divorce Amy and leave this family forever.
Like, you don't even get to know the names of the people who are harassing Leo without paying money to see it. Oh, and their names are Wendy and Anthony. For some reason, we don't hear their names for the first time until at least 5 episodes in. So Aunt Cindy is sort of the main antagonist of this movie. And during the gift-giving portion of her party, Leo gives her a gift, which is revealed to be a note that asks Aunt Cindy for $500,000.
I need to borrow $500,000. I will pay you back.
Look, I'm not a gift-giving expert, but I think the gift is supposed to be for the person you're giving it to, not for yourself. Anyway, Aunt Cindy gets offended by this, understandably, and kicks Leo out. We later find out that Leo needed the money because his foster mom needs surgery that costs $500,000. Also, it just dawned on me that Leo's foster mom is the only mom ever mentioned in this movie. There is never a father-in-law. There is never a mother-in-law. Why is it called Son-in-Law's Revenge? I guess nephew-in-law wasn't catchy enough? Why wouldn't you just make Aunt Cindy be Amy's mom then? And then the title would make sense. That's like the easiest fix. So after Leo gets kicked out of the house, he runs into his old butler, who he forgets existed.
I've been looking everywhere for you.
Who are you?
Wait, you don't remember? It's Stuart, your old butler.
I never had a butler growing up. I feel like if I did, I'd probably remember that. But either way, at this point, Leo is informed about how rich his grandfather is.
Here, take this. It's your inheritance. It isn't much. Only $5 billion. You know your grandfather's a very wealthy man.
No, I didn't know that because he gave me up. I don't want anything from him.
Yesterday, he bought the Agron Corporation for $50 billion. And now, it's yours.
How does that board meeting even go? So let me get this straight. You want to buy out the company completely? Yes. And then you immediately want to commit nepotism and make your estranged grandson the CEO? Yeah, that sounds about right. May I ask if he has any experience in upper management or working in an office at all? Yeah, no, I don't think he has any of that experience. Well, sounds like a good plan to me. He'll fit right in with the other nepotism hires, and I like money, so you have a deal. Great! Looks like it's time to do a celebratory dance. Oh man, I'm gonna be so rich. Now my incompetent grandson can tear this company down from the inside. Oh, Agron Corporation, I told you you'd rue the day you fired me 60 years ago. What did he say? Oh no, you keep dancing. I'm just talking to myself. Don't worry about it. All right. Oh, yeah, this is a good plan. So anyway, a man you don't remember drives up to you, gives you $5 billion, and tells you that you're now the CEO of an entire business empire. What do you do? Because whatever you decide, it probably makes more sense than what Leo does, which is not tell his wife.
Hello? I'd like to pay a bill for a patient. In full.
Who is sound designing this show? I thought he was gonna hire a hit out on his family, which actually would have been a more interesting story than what we end up getting. Hello? Yeah, 1 large pepperoni, 2 orders of breadsticks. Oh, and I'd like you to murder my aunt-in-law. So Leo starts his new job as CEO of the Agron Corporation, where we meet his vice president, Melanie, who is way too nice considering the circumstance she's in. It also turns out that Anthony is a large client of the Agron Corporation, and Leo decides as his first duty as CEO to just cancel all his contracts.
Do you know who my fiance is?
This is absurd.
I'm sorry.
However, Leo's second move as CEO is to announce that they want to build a casino. This, as it turns out, is so that he can get Amy to pitch the contract and, of course, give it to his wife. But since nobody knows he's the CEO of the corporation, none of his family seem to believe that Amy could pitch this contract. Because nobody believes in Amy, and obviously Leo's cooking the books here, he decides to make some bets. First is with Aunt Cindy, who says that if Amy gets the contract, she can be made a director of the Veil Foundation, which I guess is a foundation run by Cindy. And like everything in this movie, it's not explained. Though I will say, if you told me the Veil Foundation and the Agron Corporation were cover-up companies for some world-ending plot that Batman has to foil, I'd believe you. Leo also bets with Anthony that if she gets the contract, he has to apologize to Leo. And if she doesn't get the contract, Leo will leave the entire family in exile forever. Look, obviously Leo's cooking the books. We know this. But like, if he wasn't, that has to be the dumbest stakes for a bet ever. Listen here, Anthony. If I lose, I will leave my family forever. I'll leave Amy even though I love her. I will leave everybody because you know what? It's a bet and a bet's a bet. But if you lose, you gotta say sorry to me because you hurt my feelings. After that all goes down, we get introduced to James. He's another rich business guy who also really hates Leo for some reason. And he's convinced that he'll get the deal because he knows the CEO of the Agron Corporation. Though apparently not enough to know that the CEO stepped down and that Leo's in charge now.
Say hello to the Agron CEO for me.
Right. Scum.
So because Amy can't know that Leo is the CEO, because of course, he has Melanie do the interview with Amy, and they don't even try to make it seem legit. Amy walks in and pretty much immediately gets the deal, and also because of this, none of the family believe that Amy even got the deal.
Back already? They must have really hated your pitch.
Yeah, that was the shortest meeting in the history of the world.
I got the contract.
Don't lie to us, Amy.
Don't worry, because while the family is fighting, the Agron Corporation does post about the deal online, which confirms that Amy did indeed get the contract.
The Agron Corporation just released a statement on social media.
Okay, but what I don't understand is how did you convince them to double the contract in just 10 minutes?
I don't know why they would post this online and not like that there's a new CEO. Oh, also this caption is missing like 3 words and added a word for some reason.
I told you she'd get it. Now apologize.
Never.
This is what $40 gets you. So of course, Anthony refuses to hold up his end of the bargain. So Leo kills him. Oh, okay, well not really. He just threatens him and gets him to say sorry, and this turns Amy on, because of course we need a saucy scene in this. We're competing with the boss affair, after all. To celebrate Amy's victory, Aunt Cindy decides to throw a gala. But in order for her to actually get the director job, Amy has to get the CEO to come to the gala. So Amy calls Melanie, and of course Melanie has to call Leo to confirm this, and we're treated to one of the most unbelievable scenes.
I'm wondering if the CEO might be available to come to a gala tomorrow night?
Let me check and call you back.
Why is the vice president calling you?
Must be the wrong number.
The CEO would be delighted to attend the gala.
That's wonderful.
Zero questions about this. Just believes him. So we then cut to the day of the gala where Anthony tells Cindy to make him director instead of Amy because she would be bad at it, which he pretty much chalks up to her being a woman.
Plus, a man should be in charge. That's only right.
He also threatens to spread a rumor that Amy actually slept with the CEO to get her contract if he isn't made director, which convinces Aunt Cindy to make him director, which is kind of a funny rumor to spread because, like, he's not wrong. Oh, and also, I'm just kidding. The gala's actually tomorrow. Just ignore the scene prior that hinted that the CEO was coming over today.
Everyone be on your best behavior tonight. The CEO will be here.
Because actually the gala is tomorrow. I don't know how they messed that up. The next day, Leo buys Amy a very nice $2 million necklace, which prompts Stuart to call and let him know that his grandfather is monitoring his transactions, which makes Leo visibly angry for some reason. Also, we then cut to a shot of an old man who we've never seen before, laughing maniacally. This is Leo's grandfather, and this whole scene does not make sense because he is not even evil at the end of this when we finally do meet him. Fast forward to the gala finally, where Leo bumps into James, who is immediately rude to him for no reason.
Nice suit. Did you get it on the street?
And also he calls Cindy Aunt Cindy.
What are you doing here, James?
Aunt Cindy invited me.
Despite, as far as I know, having zero familial ties to her, James claims that he's the reason why Amy got the deal, and Leo naturally threatens to ruin his life. This, of course, is the most rational response. Leo then sticks to that word, calls Melanie up, and tells her to make all of James' companies go bankrupt, because I guess Melanie can just do that.
Melanie, how many companies does James Grant own? Make them all go bankrupt.
Also, the scene has the same vibe as that one scene from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. You know the scene. Melanie, James was mean to me. Send him to the bankruptcy office. I think they forgot that this was a vertical video for this scene. I also like how everyone has alerts enabled for when any company goes bankrupt.
What is going on?
James, the value of your company's dropped 90% in the last 30 seconds.
And so everybody seems to know that James has gone bankrupt before even he does.
You did this, didn't you? I told you to apologize.
But how? Nobody. Worse than Dirt.
Even Dirk gets tired of being stepped on after a while.
Wait, Dirk doesn't even have feelings. That doesn't make sense as an analogy. During this whole James fiasco, Anthony is being announced as the director of the Vale Foundation, during which Melanie comes up as a representative of Agron because, of course, Leo can't, reveal himself at this gala, even though that would be an incredible time to do it. She then informs them that Agron will be closing all contracts with the Vale Foundation if Amy is not made director. That being said, Amy gets properly instated, and then we never hear about this plot point again. So the next day, Wendy barges into Leo's place looking for his help because she apparently invested money with some shady guy, and I guess he ripped her off. And of course, he just so happens to hang out in the most legit place all investors hang out in, a parking garage. We then get treated to this action-packed scene.
You can't prove anything.
Do you know who I am?
Leo also tells him that he's the CEO of the Agron Corporation, about 5 feet in front of Wendy, and she never hears him.
Leo Long, CEO of the Agron Corporation. You just messed with the wrong man.
And this is confirmed because later on she admits that she doesn't think Leo is the CEO of the Agron Corporation. So like this whole scene feels like it should be tense, but it ends up just not meaning anything. Oh, by the way, just to point out the production value again, anytime they want to set up a scene that takes place in Leo's house, they use the exact same stock footage, except they just color grade it a different color to make it look like nighttime. $40, by the way. So now we get introduced to one of the last characters we're going to get introduced to in this movie, Danica Vaughn, who is Amy's friend and apparently Leo's new secretary. One of Danica's main character traits in this is that she just is always on to Leo's secret.
Everyone thinks you're just a nobody, but I don't believe them.
Like, they just met, and within a day, she's already convinced that Leo is the CEO of the Agron Corporation. The next day, Leo's trying to buy a nice car in the parking garage. It's a really weird spot to meet to sell a car. You would think he'd go out to a dealership. But regardless, it doesn't seem to matter because the guy who's selling the car just immediately assumes Leo can't afford it, despite there being no reason why he would think that.
You? You can't afford the left front tire.
There's a lot of weird writing in this movie. and I've covered a lot of it already, but Leo is literally coming out of a big company in a suit with a suitcase, and there's no part of him that makes me think he couldn't afford this car. But this guy is just immediately convinced he can't afford it. Of course, in frustration, Leo decides to open up his suitcase to reveal that it is literally full of cash, at which point the salesman becomes a little baby and begs him to buy the car from him.
Have it, no, take the car, please, please. Come on, no, come on, please.
And while this is happening, a couple employees of the company decide to pull out their phone and film what is probably the most uninteresting R public freakout video ever posted to the internet. And of course, it goes viral. But I guess the person recording this didn't bother to get a shot of Leo's face, because Amy finds the video, and even though you can assumedly see him perfectly fine, she doesn't figure out that he's the CEO at all.
Leo, someone got a video of the Agon CEO today.
Accosting a car salesman.
What?
Well, okay, she kind of does, because she notices that he has the same shoes.
How do you know that's the CEO?
Who else has that kind of money?
Wait, Leo, he's wearing your shoes.
The video has audio, right? Like, you can hear the audio in the scene, and somehow the only thing she recognizes is his shoes, which actually makes me wonder, was the person filming the fight scene, were they just filming the ground?
Hey buddy, fuck you, alright? I own this corporation. You see this? Yeah, 5 SpongeBob watches. Read it and weep. That's how rich I am. Not one, not two. I got 5 SpongeBob watches. So I don't even need your broke ass car, okay?
Leo then reveals that he actually did buy a car, but it wasn't that car. It was a different one. And Amy is excited about this and also just doesn't question this car purchase at all. Oh, and Danica is still onto his secret.
He may think he's fooling everyone, but he can't fool me.
And at this point, I can understand the connection being made. Leo's not exactly good at hiding this stuff. Amy decides to invite some old friends, Dave and Gigi, over for dinner. And like everyone in this movie, they suck.
How's it been leeching off your wife's family for all these years?
I have to say, we're all a bit jealous, living the way you do without lifting a finger.
At dinner, which is, by the way, a single bowl of lettuce, we find out that Dave's father actually works at Agron. And after being berated by them for the entirety of the scene, Leo goes to his bathroom to tell Melanie to fire him, because that's how you should decide to fire your employees, based on what their family does. Also, according to this text, his dad's name is Dave too. I guess as far as like the editing on this goes, that one you could argue makes the most sense, because people do name their kids Dave Jr. But, you know, realistically, it's probably just another editing mistake where they just put Dave's name in there. Mr. Electric, I want you to fire him. After that, Leo overhears Gigi being mean to Amy because, again, everybody in the show just sucks.
I've never liked you, Amy. Not since college. Not ever.
Why would you go to this dinner if you don't like the people hosting it? Upset by this, Leo asks Melanie for the worst thing she can find on Gigi. Why is Melanie just able to do literally anything? And also, would Melanie even know who Gigi is? Like, how would she know what Gigi to look for? I hope she's at least getting paid overtime for this, because she manages to find a video of Gigi having sex with, based on the reaction, I'm gonna guess not Dave. Amy, by the way, does not question why Leo has this video, but also, what has Melanie been put through at that company that's just her initial first thought? What have they done to her? Anthony claims that Leo might actually be the Agron CEO. He tells this to Danica, and she agrees with him and says that she'll do her best to figure it out at her job. Oh, and hey, real quick trigger warning for sexual assault. Just skip ahead. I'll put a number right here if you don't want to like listen to this. That's understandable, because this just comes out of nowhere. So that night, Leo gets sexually assaulted by Danica after he overhears her talking on the phone with Anthony. Amy then walks in on it and gets understandably upset, though I will say the tone of the scene does feel a little undercut by the penguin shirt she's wearing. Like, if you knew you were gonna film a serious scene, you couldn't have had her in just a regular shirt. Danica then confronts Leo outside, where she reveals that she knew that he was the Agron CEO the entire time. And of course, she threatens to reveal his secret if he doesn't marry her and also wire her $5 million. Dude, just tell people you're the CEO of the Agron Corporation. It's really not worth all of this. Later, Leo and Amy file for divorce, and Leo immediately after tells her about his money.
Leo Long, grandson of Lester Long and CEO of the Agron Corporation.
Yeah, fuck you, bitch. I'm a bajillionaire. Divorced dads right now being like, yeah, man, you tell her. So to prove that he's rich, he takes her to his grandfather's house. Oh, and also Aunt Cindy follows them for some reason, and she looks, well, like she always looks. Man, they gotta stop with these audio edits.
Grandfather,
grandfather. So Leo confronts his grandfather and then immediately leaves like a normal person and gives Amy his whole fortune, which is apparently as easy as giving someone a card. Relatable. Also, Leo doesn't send Danica the $5 million, and Anthony does some digging, in which he finds out that Leo's grandfather is a billionaire. That night, Amy and Leo are in their house when somebody breaks in. Now, this scene should be more tense than it is, because Leo has a lot of enemies, but in a scene prior, they show Danica looking in the window. Amy ends up shooting Danica and killing her. And the next day, a police officer comes by to investigate the scene. And of course, right as he's getting close to a clue,
Please forgive Mr. Long. There's been a misunderstanding.
I guess his Candy Crush energy finally refreshed. But actually though, it's because Leo is revealed to be the head of the Agron Corporation. And for some reason, literally everyone in the city has push notifications for the Agron Corporation and other businesses. I don't know why. Oh, and of course the cop left because he's a CEO, so obviously he can't do anything wrong. So it turns out the person who leaked his identity was none other than Aunt Cindy, who is convinced that by doing this, he'll have to be nice to them. So Cindy walks into Leo's office, because I guess they can just do that, and tells Leo that the divorce is off. But of course, Leo doesn't want the divorce to be off, and in the most dramatic scene in this entire movie, Amy shows up behind him to say the same.
You will stay married to Amy and divide your fortune among us, your family.
No, he won't.
We then jump from that scene to a scene of Leo getting dressed for something, in which it's revealed that Aunt Cindy kidnapped Amy. After Leo confronts the family, they tell Leo to transfer all of his $9 billion to them, which he manages to do with a single text, which feels like it should set off some alarms at the bank. Listen, buddy, you're gonna give me all $9 billion of your inheritance, or they get it. Please just give him the money. Okay, I'll give you all the money you need. I can't really transfer $9 billion at once. Like, that's gonna set off some flags at the bank, okay? So can we do like an installment? $9 billion now. I'm not playing around. I get it. I get that you want it all right now, but I'm telling you, I don't think the bank's gonna let me do that much of a trade. Like, I have a limit, you know? Oh my God. Can you just let me give them a call at least? Yeah, hey, I need to transfer $9 billion to a kidnapper? Listen, they're not gonna let me do the $9 billion transfer at once. It would just, I don't care what they say, okay? I just want the money. They said they can't do it. They said though we can set up an installment plan. I'm gonna die today. Great, I love this. Just do it. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna be good. After saving Amy, Leo's back at home when he gets a call from Stuart? I guess that's just that $40 quality control I expect from this purchase. Stuart informs him that his grandfather needs to see him because, you know, he kind of gave away his entire fortune. Yikes. Oh, and then we get this transition shot of someone cutting an onion. I have tried to figure out why this shot was included. There is no context for this, which makes me think that someone messed up the editing or someone really thought the shot of someone cutting an onion would be like really deep to add here. Either way, it is very funny. Leo then goes to see his grandfather, where it's revealed that Leo never actually had any of the money in the first place. It was a fake account.
Did you honestly think I was gonna give you $9 billion? Oh, come on, that was a fake bank account.
Which I guess explains how he was able to transfer $9 billion in one go. And Cindy realized that this is a fake account, and so she shows up as well to confront the grandfather and get her $9 billion. And in another twist, and get ready because there's going to be a lot of twists here, so keep your head on straight if you can. We find out that Aunt Cindy knew Leo's grandfather and actually was going to date him, but ended up marrying his friend instead. Leo manages to snatch her gun in one of the worst gun struggle scenes I've seen in a movie, and this all leads to Cindy getting arrested for the murder of Danica Vaughn.
You're under arrest for the kidnapping and extortion and murder of Danica Vaughn.
But who is that?
Why even wink there? Stuart then gives Leo a note about the truth of his family because we're not done with the twist just yet. We then get treated to one of the best angry scenes in media. Finally, we get revealed the truth about Leo's mother. Okay, now this is a lot, so try to keep up. It's revealed that Leo's mother is the one who gave him up for adoption, not his grandfather like he had assumed. When Leo goes to confront his grandfather on this note, it turns out that he died of cancer because he just had that, I guess. But Stuart is able to tell him that his grandfather actually wanted to keep Leo this whole time, but his mother hated her father so much that she put him up for adoption instead. Stay with me because we're not done yet. It turns out his foster mother is his real mother the whole time for some reason, and then when Leo goes to confront his foster mother, aka his real mother, at the hospital, which by the way, they couldn't have just gotten stock footage of a hospital for this, it turns out she's just gone. There was no surgery. He wired the $500,000 to her and she left. All right, is your head on still? Great. Anyway, we're not done yet because the next day on his way into work, Leo gets swarmed by one reporter.
Leo Long, it's Erica Feldstein from The Daily. How does it feel to be the richest man in the city?
Excuse me.
Why would you even include this scene? In his office, Wendy and Anthony barge in, and they are understandably upset that Aunt Cindy is in jail. After they argue with Leo for a while, they begrudgingly agree to debase themselves in front of the building so that Leo will go talk to Aunt Cindy in jail, which he does, but of course he has no intention of getting her out of jail.
You get back here. Leo! Leo! Don't leave me!
Later that night, Amy notices that Leo has been acting a little power hungry lately and is just being a little bit weird.
Leo, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Are you counting your money, Leo?
Although, to be fair, his entire life was just flipped upside down in the span of like a day, so I can't say I blame him.
Just think what I can do, who I can control, what I can get away with.
But Amy then hints that she, might be pregnant.
I have to tell you something.
And that's it. The entire movie is over. I couldn't find a part 2 on the app, so if one does get made and this video does well, then I'll consider talking about it too. And yeah, I don't think it's very good. But to be fair, I think it'd be very difficult to make anything very good in this framework. The minute-long segments don't really help at all, because what ends up happening is that you're trying to cram so much into a minute. Some episodes will have literally nothing of value in them, and others will have too much of value in them that you'll get overwhelmed and just be confused. Like, I try to go into these videos with a positive eye as best as I can. And I'm not even saying that I could necessarily do better. I'm not a screenwriter. I have not worked on movies or anything. But for $40, I would hope that the quality would be just a smidge higher, Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.